He who is brave is free. Seneca. What if I told you that making a woman miss you isn't about chasing her or playing games? It's about mastering a mindset so powerful, it quietly pulls her in from a distance. Imagine flipping the script where instead of wondering if she's thinking about you, she's actually feeling a deep, almost magnetic absence whenever you're not around. This isn't some cheesy trick or manipulation. It's rooted in subtle, dark psychology combined with timeless Stoic wisdom. In this video, I'm going to break down the 9 essential things you must do to make any woman miss you badly. These aren't the usual or surface-level advice you hear everywhere. We're diving deep into how your presence, energy, and actions can create a lasting impression that lingers in her mind long after you're gone. Watch closely and stay until the very end because missing you is an art, and mastering it could change your relationships forever. If you want to shift the dynamic and have her drawn to you in a way that feels almost irresistible, this video is your roadmap. Ready to unlock that power? Let's get started. Number 1, create emotional triggers with subtle reminders. Imagine for a moment that you want someone to feel your absence deeply, to have you linger in their thoughts long after you've gone. This isn't about manipulation or tricks, but about mastering the subtle art of emotional resonance. The way you can truly make someone miss you isn't by grand gestures or constant attention. It's by planting quiet, powerful reminders that stir something inside them, emotional triggers that awaken memories and feelings, pulling them back to you when you're not there. You have the power to do this, but it requires patience, precision, and a calm, purposeful mindset. Stoicism teaches us that the external world doesn't control us, only our judgments do. Once said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So, to make someone miss you, you start by influencing the quality of their thoughts about you, weaving subtle threads in their mind that connect your presence to their emotions. This isn't about loud declarations or obvious signals. It's about embedding little emotional cues, delicate reminders that slip into the background but grow louder with time. You have to become the quiet echo in their mind, not the shouting voice. You can start by cultivating habits that help you leave these subtle traces. Think about the things that create emotional resonance: a specific scent, a unique phrase, a look, a tone of voice, or even a shared silence that holds meaning. These are your tools. Practice using them deliberately. When you part ways, don't just disappear. Leave something behind, metaphorically at least, something they can associate with you. Maybe it's the way you say goodbye, the small joke you always share, or a phrase that becomes your signature. You want to be the feeling, the nuance, the detail that surfaces unexpectedly in their mind and makes them smile or wonder. This is how absence becomes noticeable. Try an exercise. Pick one small, distinctive thing that you can link to yourself. It could be a phrase like "remember this moment" or a subtle gesture. Use it consistently but sparingly so it doesn't lose power. When you use it, make sure it's charged with genuine emotion and confidence. This isn't about being fake or forced. It's about being authentic but intentional. Over time, this little trigger will become a cue in their brain, pulling up feelings and memories connected to you. You're planting seeds that blossom when you're not around. Remember, this takes discipline and calmness. Don't obsess or flood them with reminders. The Stoic wisdom here is crucial. Control what you can, your actions and your mindset, and let go of what you can't, their reactions. You're working in the realm of influence, not control. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. React with steadiness and quiet confidence. The emotional triggers you create aren't demands. They are invitations for their mind to wander toward you naturally, softly, repeatedly. Another way to deepen these emotional imprints is through the power of absence paired with subtle presence. Don't be available all the time. Give space for the mind to fill in the gaps. The spaces between your interactions become fertile ground for emotional triggers to take root. Use these pauses wisely. When you reconnect, let those subtle reminders be your bridge back into their heart. You become a familiar, welcome presence, not a needy one. Keep practicing mindfulness too. Pay attention to your tone, your energy, the small moments that leave an emotional mark. Stoicism is about presence and self-awareness. Cultivate these qualities within yourself, and your subtle reminders will naturally carry more weight. When you're calm, grounded, and self-possessed, the emotional triggers you plant will resonate deeper. People sense authenticity. They feel when you're steady, not desperate. Here's a practical step you can take daily. Spend a few minutes reflecting on one subtle way to remind someone of you without words. Could it be a meaningful glance, a specific look, or even a small, thoughtful act? Commit to using it the next time you see them. Then step back. Notice how it lands. No rush, no pressure. Let it breathe. Watch how this gentle approach begins to stir their thoughts about you. You have the power to be unforgettable, not through noise or grandiosity, but through the quiet, consistent weaving of emotional threads that make your absence felt and your presence cherished. Build this skill patiently, with calm intention and a resilient heart. The art of creating emotional triggers is subtle, but it's one of the most profound ways to touch someone's inner world and make them miss you badly, in the best way possible. Number 2, master the art of strategic absence. Mastering the art of strategic absence is one of the most powerful tools you can wield if you want any woman to miss you deeply. It's not about playing games or being cold for the sake of it. Instead, it's a deliberate practice of holding your ground and creating space that naturally sparks longing and curiosity. When you disappear, not permanently, but with intention, you are signaling confidence and self-respect. You're showing that your time and attention are valuable, and you're not simply waiting around for her reaction. This absence, done skillfully, plants a seed of desire because it makes her aware that your presence isn't guaranteed. As said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your absence is that very obstacle that stirs her emotions, compelling her to reflect on what she truly values about you. Now, you might be wondering how to apply this without coming off as indifferent or dismissive. The key lies in balance and intention. This isn't about vanishing into thin air forever. Instead, it's about stepping back from constant communication and availability so that your presence feels like a gift, not a given. It challenges the usual rhythm where someone is always just a text or call away. By stepping away, you reclaim your own space and energy, which is magnetic. It forces her to confront what she feels in your absence. The craving builds not because you're ignoring her, but because you are showing that you have a life that doesn't revolve entirely around her. That kind of independence, pure, unshakable, is irresistible. You need to approach this practice with a calm, deliberate mindset. This isn't about manipulation or creating drama. It's about embodying the Stoic principle of control, focusing on what is within your power and not being enslaved by external validation. You control your presence and absence. You choose when to engage and when to retreat without anxiety or overthinking. Remember Epictetus's words, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You decide how much space to create, and you maintain that boundary with quiet confidence. This teaches you discipline and allows your emotional strength to shine through, qualities that naturally draw others in. A practical way to begin mastering strategic absence is to set intentional periods of limited contact. It could be a few days or a week where you don't initiate conversation, where you focus on your goals, your hobbies, your own growth. During this time, resist the urge to fill silence with messages or calls. Instead, occupy yourself fully with your own life. This builds your own resilience and reminds you that your happiness isn't tied to constant interaction. When you return, you do so refreshed, more interesting, and with stories, energy, and presence that command attention. The contrast between absence and presence amplifies your impact. But don't just retreat and vanish without reason. Make your absence strategic by aligning it with your personal growth and purpose. Use this time to deepen your character, develop new skills, or pursue passions that elevate you. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a purpose beyond themselves. When your absence is filled with meaningful activity, it sends a loud, clear message. You're a man who values his own time and self-respect. That is magnetic. She will not only miss your presence, but will respect your discipline and self-mastery. Another exercise to sharpen this skill is to practice detachment from immediate gratification. When you feel the impulse to reach out or respond instantly, pause, breathe. Reflect on whether your action is driven by genuine desire or by fear of loss or loneliness. Train yourself to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This builds emotional control, which is a core tenet of Stoicism. It allows you to stay grounded and keep your value intact. The more you master this, the more your absence becomes a tool of quiet power rather than insecurity. Ultimately, mastering strategic absence means you step into your own power and sovereignty. It's a dance between presence and withdrawal that cultivates respect, desire, and longing. It reminds her, and importantly reminds you, that your time and attention are precious. You are not chasing, you are leading. As Seneca put it, he who is brave is free. You have the bravery to hold your space and the freedom to choose when and how to show up. This is how you become unforgettable, how you make her miss you, not out of desperation, but out of genuine admiration and attraction. So start today. Give yourself permission to pull back, focus inward, and build your life with intention. Watch how your strategic absence turns into a magnet, pulling her closer without a word. This is not just about making her miss you. It's about becoming the kind of man who commands absence and presence alike with quiet mastery. Number 3, build irresistible confidence and mystery. If you want to make any woman miss you badly, one of the most powerful tools at your disposal is building an irresistible confidence wrapped in an aura of mystery. This is not about putting on a fake act or trying to be someone you're not. Instead, it's about cultivating a deeper sense of self-assurance that comes from within and pairing it with a subtle, magnetic enigma that naturally draws people toward you. Remember what Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That mastery of self is the foundation of confidence. When you truly own who you are, there's no need to shout it from the rooftops. Your presence alone speaks volumes. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance or trying to dominate a room with loudness. It's a calm, steady energy that signals you know your value, and you don't feel the need to seek constant validation. This kind of confidence is magnetic because it shows you're comfortable in your own skin. You're not desperate, nor are you trying to impress. Instead, you embody a quiet strength that naturally pulls others in. It's like the calm before the storm, powerful, captivating, and impossible to ignore. When you show up this way, you make her wonder, what's his story? What's behind that calm demeanor? This is where mystery comes in. Mystery isn't about being secretive just for the sake of it. It's about withholding everything, revealing just enough to keep someone intrigued without exhausting all the cards at once. Think of it as an art form, a dance between revealing and concealing. When you master this, you create an emotional pull that keeps her thinking about you long after you're gone. It's the pull of curiosity, the desire to know more that makes absence so potent. Wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts and energy project confidence and a hint of the unknown, she won't be able to shake the image of you from her mind. How do you build this? Start by mastering your internal dialogue. Train your mind daily to reject self-doubt and focus on what you can control, your actions, your mindset, your reactions. Every morning, remind yourself, I am in control of my mind. I am steady, calm, and composed. This exercise isn't just empty words, it rewires your brain to embody confidence naturally. Next, practice silence. In conversations, resist the urge to fill every pause with words. Let your calmness linger. The way you carry yourself, your posture, your eye contact, your pace of speech, should radiate assurance without needing to prove anything. Now about mystery. Be intentional about what you share and when. Avoid oversharing personal details too quickly. Instead, offer glimpses, a story here, a thought there, but never the whole picture at once. This keeps her mentally engaged, constantly piecing together who you really are. This exercise in restraint creates emotional tension that's irresistible. It's like the famous Stoic idea from Seneca: every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The mystery you cultivate should be like a beginning that keeps unfolding, making her eager for more. Finally, take deliberate steps to elevate your lifestyle in ways that align with this confident and mysterious persona. This isn't about flashy displays or materialism. It's about developing habits that boost your inner strength, discipline in your fitness, continuous learning, maintaining a calm and grounded demeanor even in chaos. These habits act like silent signals, showing that you live by your own rules and standards, not anyone else. It makes you stand out because people sense your independence and resilience. So here's a practical challenge for you. For 1 week, every time you catch yourself seeking approval or feeling the urge to overshare, pause, take a deep breath. Remind yourself of the Stoic mantra: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Shift your focus inward. Choose your words carefully, speak with intention, and embrace the power of silence. When you walk into a room or enter a conversation, carry yourself like someone who has a story worth discovering, calm, confident, and just a little bit mysterious. Over time, this will become second nature, and the effect will be undeniable. She'll miss you because you've become someone worth missing. Number 4. Use indirect communication to spark curiosity. Imagine the power you hold when you master the art of saying less but making her think more. Indirect communication isn't just about being mysterious for mystery's sake. It's a strategic way to ignite curiosity, to plant a seed of intrigue deep enough that it grows in her mind long after you're gone. This is where your words become arrows shot into the air. You don't need to explain everything. You just need to let her wonder, let her fill in the blanks. That pull, that magnetic tug, is what makes someone miss you badly. When you stop revealing every detail and start dropping hints instead, you shift from being predictable to being captivating. You become the puzzle she wants to solve, not the book she's already read. You need to embrace the power of restraint in communication. Once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." But here, the wisdom twists slightly. It's not about lying or deceiving. It's about being deliberate with your words, choosing to withhold just enough to create space for curiosity. The Stoic way teaches you to be measured and thoughtful. So instead of spelling everything out, speak with purpose. When you share a story or express a thought, leave room for her imagination to wander. A glance that lingers, a vague comment about your plans, a question that makes her pause. These are tools you wield to draw her in without overtly trying. Now, this isn't about playing games. It's about cultivating an aura of confidence and calm control over your own narrative. When you communicate indirectly, you're showing that you're comfortable with silence and pauses. This quiet self-assurance commands respect and sparks interest. Women notice when a man isn't desperate to fill every silence with chatter. That's where your power lies. You create an emotional gap, a subtle tension that her mind instinctively wants to bridge. It's like a riddle wrapped in a smile. It's more compelling than any direct confession or oversharing could ever be. To put this into practice, start by cutting down on over-explaining. When she asks about your day, you don't have to unload every detail. Instead, give a snapshot, something evocative but incomplete. Let her ask questions, let her guess, let her wonder what else you might be up to. Practice delivering your thoughts with a hint of ambiguity, a statement that implies more than it says outright. This doesn't mean being evasive or dishonest, but rather choosing your words with precision so that each sentence has layers. Your communication becomes a dance, subtle, rhythmic, and inviting. A simple exercise you can try is to narrate parts of your day or your interests in ways that suggest stories without telling them fully. For instance, instead of saying, "I worked late on a project that was tough," you might say, "I was wrapped up in something interesting today," one of those things that doesn't quite reveal itself at first glance. Watch how this changes the dynamic. It invites her to lean in, to engage her imagination, and to keep thinking about you after the conversation ends. Remember Epictetus's teaching. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Indirect communication gives you the chance to listen to the gaps, to notice what she feels in herself. Your silence, your choice to speak partially, encourages her to invest mentally and emotionally. That investment builds attachment. Curiosity thrives in those spaces you create, and when curiosity grows, so does the longing. Don't fear the power of what you don't say. Instead, harness it. Let your words be like a flame in the dark, flickering and inviting but never fully revealing all at once. This artful dance of communication is a powerful tool to make her miss you because it makes you memorable. When you master this, you don't just become someone she's physically with, you become someone she's thinking about, wondering about, wanting more of. You become unforgettable. So start practicing today. Speak less, imply more, and watch how the pull of your mystery draws her closer, even when you're far away. Number 5, engage her subconscious with sensory cues. If you want to make a woman miss you deeply, you have to go beyond words. The key lies in engaging her subconscious with sensory cues, those subtle, almost invisible triggers that speak directly to her emotions without her even realizing it. It's not just about what you say or do on the surface. It's about embedding yourself in her mind on a level so primal and instinctive that your presence lingers long after you're gone. You need to become the scent she unknowingly breathes in, the tone that calms her, the touch that awakens a memory buried deep inside. This is dark psychology in its most refined form, the art of planting emotional anchors that pull her toward you even when you're miles away. Begin by understanding how powerful sensory inputs are. Our minds are wired to react to smell, sound, touch, sight, and even taste in ways that bypass conscious thought. When you master this, you no longer compete just with logic or fleeting impressions. You enter her emotional core. Imagine a particular scent, a subtle cologne or aftershave becoming synonymous with you in her mind. Every time she catches that fragrance in the air, whether you're there or not, it sparks an involuntary pull, a flash of your presence. That's not coincidence, it's deliberate influence. You can start small. Choose a scent that feels authentic to you, something that doesn't scream for attention but lingers quietly and memorably. Use it consistently. Let it become your signature without you needing to say a word. Sound is equally potent. The cadence of your voice, the particular way you laugh, the rhythm of your words, these imprint on her subconscious. Practice speaking with calm confidence, letting your tone carry an undertone of warmth and intrigue. You want her brain to associate your voice with safety and curiosity simultaneously. When she hears that tone again, even in a simple voicemail or a casual text read aloud, it's like a gentle tug, pulling her thoughts back to you. The Stoics remind us to be intentional with our presence, said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." So, be the man who doesn't just speak but resonates. Every sound you make around her should be carefully woven into the fabric of her memories. Touch, of course, is the most direct sensory language. The brush of your hand, a deliberate but gentle contact, awakens sensations that words can never capture. It's the silent message that says, "You matter to me in a way beyond explanation." When you master this, you're communicating on a level that goes straight to her emotional center. Practice being mindful about how you initiate touch. Let it be purposeful and meaningful, never rushed or accidental. This is where you cultivate presence. Epictetus taught that our power lies in how we choose to respond. You can choose to let your touch be a source of comfort and curiosity, a subtle invitation to connect deeply, even when physical distance separates you. Visual cues are just as critical. You don't need grand gestures. Sometimes it's the way you hold your posture, the light in your eyes when you look at her, the slight smile that hints at something only she understands. These small signals build an image of you that stays with her. You want to create a mental picture that's compelling, a mosaic of moments that replay in her mind's eye. When you're not there, she'll find herself recalling the way you looked at her, the quiet intensity you radiated. This is not manipulation but mastery of presence. Remember what Seneca said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." Show up with courage in how you present yourself, and you will plant seeds in her mind that grow into longing. Finally, consider taste and environment, subtle but powerful cues that can link your presence to moments she cherishes. Maybe it's the shared taste of a particular food or drink, or the of a place you frequent together. When her senses encounter these triggers, her mind flashes back to you, often without warning. Use this knowledge to your advantage. Be mindful of creating shared sensory experiences that become emotional bookmarks. Now, this isn't some game or trickery. It's about becoming unforgettable by being present on every level: sensory, emotional, and mental. Start practicing today. Choose your scent, refine your voice, be deliberate with touch, hold your gaze with intention, and create environments charged with your energy. Like advised, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Use every sense to build a connection that transcends mere presence. Make her subconscious feel you, even when you're far away. That's how you become missed. That's how you become unforgettable. Number 6, make her feel uniquely valued and understood. If you want to make a woman truly miss you, one of the most powerful moves you can make is to make her feel uniquely valued and understood. This isn't about generic compliments or shallow flattery. No, it goes far deeper. It's about showing her that you see her, not just the surface, not just the usual roles she plays or the mask she wears around others, but the real, intricate person beneath. When you make someone feel truly understood, it creates a magnetic pull, a sense of connection that lingers long after you're gone. You might ask, how do you do this? How do you become the person who makes her feel singularly appreciated in a world that seems full of noise and distraction? It starts with paying attention, really paying attention. And I mean more than just hearing words. It's about tuning into the subtle cues, the pauses, the tone, the unspoken hesitations. Said, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Keep this in mind as you listen to her. You're not just collecting data, you're trying to understand the story she's telling about herself, even the parts she might not say out loud. This is your entry point. This is where value is created. Now, don't mistake this for some calculated game or manipulation. This is genuine presence. Be curious without judgment. Let her share her thoughts and feelings without the need to fix, advise, or steer the conversation back to yourself. Your role is to witness her experience with openness. Imagine you're a calm observer, grounded in your own inner calmness and strength, yet fully available. That's rare and it's magnetic. Here's the real magic. When a woman feels understood on this deep level, she feels safe. She feels that rare kind of acceptance that so few people get to experience. And from that safety, a powerful emotional bond forms. You become more than just someone she spends time with. You become someone who knows her in a way nobody else does. This makes her miss you because your presence is tied to comfort, authenticity, and trust. You can start building this now. Next time you talk with her, practice slowing down. Resist the urge to fill every silence or jump to conclusions. Let your attention be fully on her, on the present moment. Notice what she says and what she doesn't say. Reflect back what you're hearing, not by repeating words, but by showing through your responses that you grasp the essence of what she's expressing. This exercise trains your mind to move beyond superficial engagement to real understanding. Also, remember that valuing her uniquely means honoring her individuality, her dreams, fears, quirks, and contradictions. Don't expect her to fit into a mold or confirm your assumptions. Embrace her complexity. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your reaction, your acceptance of who she is in all her shades, is what makes her feel irreplaceable. Here's a practical habit to adopt. Every day, challenge yourself to remember one small detail she shared and bring it up in conversation later. It might seem minor, but this shows you're invested in knowing her beyond the surface. Over time, this builds an invisible thread between you, one woven from genuine attention and respect. If you cultivate this approach consistently, you won't just be someone she thinks about. You'll be someone she feels deeply connected to, someone she longs for because your presence awakens a sense of being truly seen and appreciated. And that kind of connection, rare, profound, and sincere, is exactly what makes a woman miss you badly. So start today. Practice this art of deep understanding. Let your calm confidence shine through your attention. Be present, be patient, be genuine. In the words of, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." Open yourself to truly seeing her, and you will become unforgettable. Number 7, leverage scarcity to increase your perceived value. Imagine this. The moment you start showing up everywhere, always available, instantly responding to every message, the magic begins to fade. Why? Because when something or someone is too easy to get, it loses its shine. That's where scarcity comes in, not as a game to manipulate, but as a powerful principle to elevate your own worth and naturally make her miss you. You're not playing a trick. You're honoring the simple truth that people value what they can't always have. Said, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Think about your value as something precious, rare, and worthy of deliberate attention. You must become that rare thing. To leverage scarcity means to consciously create space in your presence. You don't have to be available every hour, every day. You are not a background noise. You are the captivating story she wants to read, but only if she has to wait a bit, if there's a sense of missing you, a gap that your absence fills with anticipation. This isn't about coldness or neglect. It's about honoring your time, your energy, your pursuits. When you value yourself enough to be selective with your availability, you automatically become more attractive. Stoicism teaches us that we control our own actions, our own responses. So choose to be scarce with your time, not out of arrogance, but out of respect for your own priorities. The practical way to start is by embracing a daily practice of self-discipline. Schedule your time with intention. Let moments of silence be your strength. When she reaches out, don't rush to respond every single time. Let her wonder a little. Let curiosity bloom. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about cultivating an inner world full of purpose that you refuse to interrupt constantly. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So your reaction to her message, your choice to be present or not, speaks volumes about your own centeredness. Try this exercise, set boundaries for your communication. Maybe it's not replying immediately to every message. Maybe you take an hour or two before responding thoughtfully. Use that time to engage with your goals, your passions, your growth. When you respond, make it meaningful. Make it count. Scarcity isn't about withholding. It's about enhancing the quality of your interaction. The less frequently you appear, the more powerful your presence becomes. Also, recognize the value of your own journey. If you're constantly chasing someone, you give your power away. But if you're steadily walking your path, mastering your own mind, developing resilience, and embodying calm confidence, that magnetic energy pulls her toward you naturally. Like Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. When you enjoy your own presence and don't hang on her every word, you cultivate a vibe of abundance that's irresistible. It's important to remember that scarcity works because it respects human nature's craving for significance and uniqueness. When you are too available, you become ordinary. When you create a gap, you become a puzzle she wants to solve, a prize to earn. This isn't manipulation. It's a reflection of how life rewards those who value themselves. The world respects scarcity, and so will she. To make this a habit, start small. Maybe designate certain hours of your day where you don't check your phone, don't reply to texts, don't scroll social media. Let those pockets of silence be your power zones. In those moments, remind yourself of your worth, your goals, your peace. When you re-engage, you do so with fresh energy, not desperation. You become a presence that commands attention rather than begs for it. Incorporate this mindset into your life not just with her, but as a principle of self-respect. You'll find that as you honor your own scarcity, your sense of self grows stronger. This shift radiates outward. It transforms how she perceives you, making her notice the difference in your confidence, your calmness, your magnetism. You become the kind of man who isn't just around, he's unforgettable. So start today. Own your time, protect your energy, be scarce, not out of fear or ego, but out of a profound appreciation for your own value. Scarcity isn't about playing games, it's about living a life that's full and worthy of being missed. Remember the wisdom of reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears. Don't injure your own value by being too available. Instead, build a presence that's powerful enough to be deeply missed. Number 8. Trigger nostalgia by recalling shared moments. What if I told you that the key to making her miss you doesn't lie in grand gestures or endless messages, but in something far simpler and far more powerful? Triggering nostalgia by recalling shared moments is one of the most subtle yet effective ways to awaken the emotional connection between you and her. It's not about forcing feelings or playing games. It's about gently guiding her mind to those moments you both cherished, the ones where time seemed to pause and you existed in a world apart from everything else. You hold the power to revive those memories, and with them, the warmth and longing that come with them. Think about it. Nostalgia isn't just a sentimental feeling. It's a force that stirs the soul. Once reflected, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By helping her revisit moments that brought joy, laughter, or comfort, you're elevating the quality of her thoughts about you. You're showing her, without saying it outright, that the time spent together wasn't just ordinary. It was meaningful, it was unique, it was hers as much as it was yours. But here, where most men get it wrong, they try to shove nostalgia down her throat, an obvious mention of a date, a forced memory, a clumsy reminder. That kills the magic. Instead, you want to be the calm architect behind the scenes. Slip in a subtle reference here, a shared joke there. Maybe it's something as simple as mentioning a song you both liked or a place that held a secret only the two of you knew. When she catches it, when her mind drifts back to that moment without feeling pressured, the spark lights itself. That's your power. That's your edge. You can practice this skill daily. Start by observing what you remember fondly. What moments brought a genuine smile to your face or calm to your mind? Think about how you felt then, how those memories still echo. Now, Imagine how she might feel revisiting those same moments. Craft your words carefully, not to remind her you're missing her, but to remind her of what made your connection special in the first place. This practice isn't just about her missing you. It's about reinforcing the bond you both shared in the first place. Here's a practical way to make it work. When you text or talk, include a casual nod to a shared memory. Don't overdo it, less is more. The goal is to plant a seed in her mind, not to flood her with memories. Let that seed grow naturally. Like Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. You want to become the person who reminds her of happiness without desperation, who revives comfort without neediness. You want to be the calm, steady presence behind those good memories. Challenge yourself to stay present in the moment when you bring up these shared experiences. Notice her response. Does her tone soften? Does she linger on your words a bit longer? These are signs the nostalgia is working. It's an invisible thread pulling her back toward you. Keep weaving those threads with care, patience, and sincerity. Remember, nostalgia is a bridge, not a cage. You're not trying to trap her in the past, but to remind her why the past was worth remembering and why you're a part of it. The goal is to inspire a desire, not to cling, not to beg, but to quietly rekindle something that already exists deep within her. Start small. Think of one memory that made you both smile or laugh, maybe a song you danced to, a quiet conversation under the stars, or a silly moment that only the two of you found funny. Bring it up in conversation naturally, as if it just crossed your mind. Notice how it changes the mood. Notice how it changes her. And keep at it gently, deliberately. In time, she won't just miss you. She'll miss the version of you that made those moments possible. The calm, thoughtful man who understood the power of connection and the quiet strength of presence. You don't need manipulation. You don't need tricks. You need authenticity wrapped in a delicate reminder of something beautiful you once shared. That is how you become unforgettable. That is how you make her miss you, not just today, but long after your words fade. Take this to heart. Start practicing now. Trigger nostalgia not by forcing it, but by awakening it. It's the slow burn that outlasts the fire. The Stoics remind us, he who is brave is free. Be brave enough to be subtle, to be patient, to be the steady anchor in her mind. That's your path to being missed deeply, and rightly so. Number 9, maintain a calm and composed mindset. What if I told you that the secret to making any woman miss you deeply starts with something deceptively simple yet profoundly powerful? Maintaining a calm and composed mindset. Imagine the magnetic pull you create when you move through life like a steady current, unshaken by chaos, untouchable by emotional storms. This calmness isn't just about being cool on the surface. It's about embodying an inner fortress, a resilience that says, without words, I am in control of myself. Once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This is the essence of what you need to harness. When you cultivate that calm center, something remarkable happens. You become undeniably attractive. Women sense it instinctively. They notice when a man's emotions don't run wild like a storm, when his presence is steady like a mountain. This groundedness creates a space where they feel safe and curious. Safe because you are not reactive or desperate, and curious because there's a mystery in your self-control, a depth that invites exploration. Now, this isn't about shutting down your feelings or pretending to be emotionless. It's about mastering them, channeling that energy into something constructive and magnetic. Start by noticing your breathing. Yes, the simplest thing can be your greatest tool. When you feel tension rising or impatience creeping in, take a deliberate breath. A slow inhale through your nose, filling your lungs completely, then a steady exhale. Repeat this until you feel your pulse steadying, your mind clearing. This act alone signals to your brain and body that you are in charge. Epictetus taught that external events don't disturb us. It's our judgments about them that do. So when your mind tries to spiral into frustration or anxiety, remind yourself that these thoughts are just visitors. You decide if they stay or leave. You must practice being the calm eye in the middle of the storm every single day. Life will throw its curveballs, but your reaction to those moments defines your presence. When you meet situations with grace instead of agitation, you build a magnetic aura that draws others in. This mindset shift requires daily discipline. Write down a list of things that typically trigger you and prepare a mental or written script to respond with calmness. Visualize yourself handling these triggers effortlessly. Over time, this mental rehearsal rewires your reactions. Here's a practical exercise. Each morning, before you even open your eyes, spend 2 minutes imagining yourself walking through your day with absolute calm. Picture the scenarios that usually make your emotions spike, then see yourself responding with patience and composure. This is not wishful thinking. It's training your mind to build neural pathways that favor calmness. As Seneca said, "He is most powerful who has power over himself." When you wield that power, you become irresistible in a subtle yet profound way. Remember, maintaining a calm and composed mindset also means refusing to chase validation or control outcomes. Instead, shift your focus inward. When you prioritize your mental equilibrium over the frantic pursuit of external approval, you create space for genuine attraction to flourish. Women will miss you not because you demanded their attention, but because your serene strength left a lasting impression, one that makes them wonder what it would be like to have that peace around them more often. So commit right now to this transformation. Start small, but start now. Use your breath, your mindset, your daily visualization to anchor yourself in calmness. Do not let fleeting emotions dictate your actions. As you grow more disciplined, you will find that this calmness becomes your signature. It's the invisible thread that weaves through your interactions and leaves a powerful echo in her mind, making her think about you long after you're gone. Calmness is not just a mindset. It's your most potent form of attraction. And when you master it, you don't just make a woman miss you, you make her want to come back, drawn by the unshakable strength you quietly embody. Now you know the 9 powerful moves to make any woman miss you badly. But remember, it's not about playing games. It's about mastering your own presence and energy so she can't help but feel drawn to you. The true power comes from confidence, mystery, and emotional control. Use these wisely and watch how your relationships transform. If you found this video eye-opening, don't just watch, apply. And if you want more deep insights like this, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment with which tip you're going to try first. Your journey to mastering attraction starts right here. Stay sharp, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one.